my name is Steinway. I came to scratch my name off the piano.
Eddie Cantor!
On the level, Jimmy, you know it's awfully nice to visit with you.
Yes, Eddie, it sure is good to see you again. If you was a girl, I'd kiss you.
If I was a girl, Jessler would have married me long ago. Look, Jimmy, you and I have been together a long, long time, and I sure am proud of you. You're keeping right up to date on the fashions.
What do you mean?
You're the only man I know who's wearing the new ankle-length nose.
It used to be only knee-length, but I let out the hem.
You let it out a little too much.
Eddie, you being here reminds me of old times, believe me.
Yes, Jimmy, we do go back a long time, don't we? Makes me think of the act I did with Gus Edwards years ago. I worked with a swell bunch of kids then. Walter Winchell, Irving Berlin, Harry Richmond, Georgie Price, and Al Jolson. And to think I made good. You know, Jimmy, I often wonder.
What?
Whatever became of those other kids?
Swallowed up by a cruel world. Eddie, it sure would be fun to relive those good old days when we were trying to get started in Coney Island.
Yeah.
Remember the Frankfurters at Feltman's and the good times we had at Perry's College Inn?
Yes, and remember when we were playing at Steuben's, and after the show I took that little blonde girl out and we held hands in the park?
It was wonderful.
Then I put my arm around her.
Marvelous.
Then I kissed her for 3 hours.
Yeah, I remember. Wait a minute. What am I laughing at? That was my girl.
Coney Island, those were the days, Jimmy. I was a singing waiter at Kerry Walters, and you were...
Yes?
The guy with the big nose. James, I said to you, James, let's quit Coney Island. Let's shoot for the moon. Let's go up and see the great Ziegfeld.
Fine. Maybe he'll give us a break.
That's right. How do you do, Mr. Ziegfeld? We're Cantor and Durante. I don't know you, and you don't know me.
Why did you have to go and spoil it?
Please give us a chance, Mr. Ziegfeld. All we want is a straight 52-week contract at $5,000 a week with special material, tailored costumes, no matinees, meals sent in, star dressing rooms on the ground floor.
I'll give you $10 a week and you dress in the alley.
We better take it. He's meeting us halfway. Please, Mr. Ziegfeld, we'll give you an idea of our act right now. Get over to the piano, Jimmy.
Let's go.
And then he'd row, row, row. Way up the river he would row, row, row. He'd give her, he would kiss her now and then. She would tell him when.
He'd fool around, and then they'd kiss again.
And then he'd row, row, row. A little farther he would row, oh, 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 oh. Then he'd drop both his oars.
Take a few more on course.
And then he'd row, row, row. Well, sir, what do you think, Mr. Ziegfeld?
Well, I thought you were wonderful, Mr. Cantor. But being the showman I am, there's one thing I'd like to suggest.
And what's that?
Get rid of the guy with the big nose.
My nose isn't big. I just happen to have a very small head. That was many years ago. And Eddie, I'll never forget when Ziegfeld said, get rid of the guy with the big nose, and how you stuck up for me.
Yes, but Jimmy, while I was talking to Ziegfeld about you, why did you run out on me?
Eddie, I knew we went as far as we could go together, and I figured Ziggy wanted you, not me. And believe me, what a thrill I got when I saw you in the Follies of 1917. I'll never forget what a sensation you were when you came out in blackface and white gloves and sang. What was the name of that song, Eddie?
Oh, I know. Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now.
Boy, what a hit you were that night. And little did you think that one day Warner Brothers would make your life story.
Yeah, they're working on it right now.
Too bad they didn't make it sooner, or they could have called it Life with Father.
Oh, that's no good, Jimmy. When you've been a father as long as I have, no life.
You had plenty of life when you appeared in the Follies of 1919. What was that big song hit you had then?
Oh, the boys were coming home from the war, and I sang, how you gonna keep them down on the farm
Sing it anymore.
after they've seen Paris?
What a song.
How you gonna keep them away from Broadway, jazzing around, painting the town? How you gonna keep them away from harm? That's a mystery.
You said it, Eddie.
Imagine Reuben when he meets his pa. He'll kiss his cheek and holler, ooh la la. How you gonna keep them down on the farm after they've seen Paris?
Ready? That was a great number, Eddie. And you know something? As I sat in the balcony the night you opened in that show, I'm not ashamed to tell you I cried like a baby.
Did you, Jimmy?
Yes. There you were on that stage singing, and there I was, sitting in the balcony with so much talent.
Jimmy. But you couldn't hide that talent for long, because I remember shortly after you opened at the Club Durante with an act that took the town by storm. Clayton, Jackson, and Durante. You know, Jimmy, I came down with a big party that night, and as I walked into the club, there you were on the piano singing.
I know darn well I can do without Broadway, but can Broadway do without me? Herald Square, Times Square, Columbus Circle, 96. What happened? I must have passed my station. Wait a minute.
Oh, Jimmy, what an act that was. You must have made a fortune at the Club Durante.
No, Eddie, not a penny. Everything we made went for new pianists.
But it was well worth it, James, because when you finished your act that night, Flo Ziegfeld, who was at my party, turned to me and said, who's that guy? And I answered him. I said, Mr. Ziegfeld, that's the guy with the big nose. And it wasn't long after that when Mr. Ziegfeld's new production, Showgirl, had as its star Jimmy Durante.
He saw the error of his ways. But what a change of pace for Durante to come out singing a number like Liza, Liza, skies are gray, but if you smile on me, all the clouds will roll away. Liza, Liza, don't delay.
Oh, Durante, a crooner. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy, don't blow. I want to tell you something, kid. I listened to Crosby. I listened to Dick Haymes. I listened to Sinatra. And you know something?
Yes?
I'm going to keep right on listening to them.
You're listening to me at a great disadvantage. You can hear me.
Yeah.
But anyway, talking about songs, what do you figure is the biggest song you've had in show business, Eddie?
Well, Jimmy, in my humble opinion, I'd say it was Another Bride, Another Groom, Another Sunny Honeymoon, Another Season, Another Reason for Making Whoopee.
Reddy, I've often envied you, working in all those Ziegfeld shows with those gorgeous Follies girls.
Oh, those gorgeous Follies girls, Jimmy. Let me tell you something. It's like working in a candy store. After the first day, you never bother with the candy. But, oh, that first day. Oh. Show business. It's been rather good to both of us, James. And in 40 years of show business, I think I found out why the people love the guy with the big nose. It's because the guy with the big nose has a heart to match. Yesterday they told you you would not go far. That night you open and there you are.
Next day on your dressing room they hung a star. Let's go on with the show.